Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Around and Around the OCD Circle podcast. My name is Elizabeth. I'm so glad you're here, joining me for another midweek motivation. This has been an absolutely crazy up and down week for me emotionally. First, I was anxious, then I was depressed, then I was anxious again, then I was calm, back to depression, and back to calm. It's just a never-ending circle of emotions. When you have OCD, it makes it even harder, I think, to keep your compulsions and rituals in check. I wanted to talk about today something that I did about a month ago that was totally out of my comfort zone. I get this question from friends and family a lot. I tend to do things that I'm not comfortable with, such as going live on YouTube or going to a very large party. And they ask me, Elizabeth, why do you do this to yourself? You get so anxious beforehand. Why do you put yourself through that? And my answer to them is that I feel for me, the only way for me to grow and feel comfortable in situations that I'm petrified of is to put myself out there, get out of my comfort zone, and just do it. And the next time, it makes it a lot easier. So I was invited to an event for podcasters in Houston. It was an hour away. I had to reserve a ticket. It was something that I thought long and hard about. But I really wanted to go. I thought it would benefit me to meet other podcasters, learn about technology, learn about what they're doing, what kind of content they create, possibly get some connections, and, of course, make some new friends. So what did I do? I got in the car. It was train rush hour. Took me over an hour to get there. Never been there before. I got there super early, and I told myself before I got out of the car, after speaking to a friend, that I was going to walk in there with my head held high, my shoulders back, stick out my hand, and shake a hand or two and say, "Hi, my name is Beth." So I did that. I went into the room. There were very few people there, but I walked up to total strangers. I didn't wait for them to come up to me. Stuck out my hand, introduced myself, even though I had a name tag on. And you know what? Nothing bad happened. As the evening went on, I grew more and more comfortable talking to people that I'd never spoken to before. I did get a few connections. I got quite a few ideas about where this podcast could go, how to get it to grow, how to get guests to come on the show, how to produce and edit my podcast. It was amazing. And you know what? I'm going to go back. They're going to be having another meetup, I believe in November, and I plan to be there. I want to be a familiar face to the leaders and the other members of this community. I think that if I continue going back, I might even find some new friends that have some of the same interest I do. Not with OCD, but with podcasting. So my midweek motivation tip for you this week is to get out of your comfort zone. The only way things are going to change in my life is if I make changes. Doing the same thing over and over again with the same patterns is just the same as having OCD. OCD goes around and around in your head unless you throw a wrench into the compulsion or ritual. It will come back, and most times with a vengeance. So think about something that you're not very comfortable with, not something that's going to absolutely petrify you, but stick your toe in the water, get a little bit wet, and do it 2 or 3 times in a row. And I promise you, after the second or third time, you'll feel a lot more comfortable. It will open up a world of possibilities to you, things you never even recognized. I'd like to remind you that this podcast has a Facebook group by the same name. We're a very small group, but we're hoping to grow. We are not there to criticize you, but to listen and support you in your OCD journey. Also, if you or someone you know who has OCD would like to be a guest on this podcast, please message me at one of my social media links below. And I hope you will tune in on Monday morning for another full episode of Around and Around the OCD Circle. Have a great rest of your week.